Hello, in this tutorial we're going to learn about variegated washes, and we're going to create this beautiful simple landscape using variegated washes and then some graded washes at the bottom for some hills. Hope you enjoy the tutorial. Okay, so here we go. First of all, make sure your paper is taped down, and then we're going to apply some clean water to the paper, so completely covering the whole of the paper, ready for our wet in wet wash. So using Prussian Blue, we're going to start at the top of the paper and slowly bring the wash down as a graded wash or gradient. Make sure it's darker at the top than at the bottom, like so. Then we're going to create a sunset or a sunrise with this painting. So we then get our Cadmium Red and take it across the paper, slowly blending it up into the blue. Now I just wanted to make it a bit of a deeper red than that, so I've got a thicker mix on the brush and repeated the process, taking it up into the blue. Then I just put some into the darker blue gradient to create a cloud effect with the sun reflecting off the bottom of the clouds. It doesn't matter if you get some blue onto the brush, you can take it into the red as well, like so, and that will dry and look quite nice as some simple clouds. Next, I was just going to add a bit more red to that skyline there and just bring it down just a little bit further down the paper, so a nice gradient. If you feel that your paper's dried a little bit, you can maybe add a bit more using your mop brush or flat brush, or you can use a spray bottle as well. So adding a bit more darker red to the skyline. Now we're going to add a layer of Cadmium Yellow. This is going to be for the low part of the sky or the horizon, and then as we did with the red into the Prussian Blue, we're going to blend the yellow up into the red, and this will create a nice variegated mix between the two and blend nicely once it's dried. Just adding a bit more yellow to it just to deepen it a bit, because remember, watercolour paints always dry lighter than when they're wet. Just slowly gradient that yellow down the paper. When you're happy with your gradients, stop. It's easy to get too carried away and blend it all too much, and then it looks a mess. What you can see me doing here, I'm just mopping up some of the loose water and paint from around the edges, because as you'll see, the colours can run down the edge of the tape, and you'll find that you can get blue running down the edge of the red and then the edge of the yellow, so it just mops up that excess water just to help prevent this from happening any further. Now we're going to create our sun, and to do this we get a clean brush, damp brush, and just slowly use a circular motion to lift some of that yellow paint. What you'll find is, because the paint and paper is still damp, the colours will still run slowly into the centre of that white area we just created for the sun. So then we just need to take a bit more out after cleaning the brush, so it's a nice clean brush again, take it back in, lifting more paint out. Now we just need to let this painting dry before we carry on with our next step. The next step we're going to do is add some mountains towards the bottom of the paper. Now it's completely dry. You can see it's dried lighter than when it was wet. We get our Prussian Blue and we go from left to right or right to left, whichever way you feel comfortable, creating some kind of hills in the distance. You can have it as a gradient wash, or you can just keep it nice and thick in one tone or value. Now, once you've done this layer, you need to let it dry before we can apply the next layer. But for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm going to show you what not to do, because, why not? Not everything's perfect in life, so I haven't completely let that first layer dry, and I'm already applying the second layer of rolling hills, and what you'll see is how the water and colours mix and blend slowly into the layer before it. This can easily be rectified though, so don't worry. In one way it creates a nice soft edge, and you can pretend that it's trees. It's a nice effect to have sometimes, but to correct this we just let it dry before we go over this second layer again along the edge to create a sharper edge. So as you see, now that second layer is completely dry, I'm just going back over it again with my Prussian Blue, and you can see how the edge along the top is now a lot sharper. But even though that we applied the second layer too early while it was still, the first layer was wet, you can see that nice blurred effect across the edge of the second layer. It looks like trees. Once that second layer is dry, we then add our third layer of rolling hills, as we did the first two. And that's it. A nice, easy, simple, variegated sky with some rolling hills and a sunset. Now this should be quite an easy tutorial for everybody to try. If you have any questions, just pop them in the comment section below and I'll be happy to answer anything you may ask.